Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Walt here from Down the Block Sports, and today I want to talk about the NHL. A future Hall of Famer has been traded to an Eastern Conference contender. What I want to talk about is who he's been traded to and what this means for the East in 2023. Joining me to talk about the Rangers and more is Hank Indictor from Preview and Preview Sports. Hank, what's going on, man? Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, man. It's been a minute. When was the last time we did something together? Like middle of baseball season trade
Yeah,
deadline?
it was definitely during baseball season. I can't remember what specific day, but it was earlier in the baseball season, which is crazy because they're about to restart coming up very soon. So, Hank, it has been a while. I had to have you come on the show today because Patrick Kane is on his way to the New York Rangers. The return is really nothing too crazy here for the Rangers. I'll let you break it down here in a second, but your top nine looks really good going into this playoff run here in the Eastern Conference.
Let me just break it down for you with names. Mika Zibanejad, Chris Kreider, Vinny Trocheck, Artemi Panarin, Vladimir Tarasenko, who we just got not too long ago from the St. Louis Blues.
The Blues.
Now you throw Patrick Kane into the mix, and I haven't even mentioned the kid line either. And then you have the fourth line consisting of Barclay Goodrow, Jimmy Vesey, and Tyler Mott. Another guy that they just acquired, but that was sort of an under-the-radar deal with the Ottawa Senators. That's a stacked roster right there. And you've got a solid defensive core featuring Fox, Miller, Lindgren, and Jacob Trouba. And with Igor Shesterkin, I think the Rangers definitely have a great shot at possibly making a deep run in the Eastern Conference. However, will it be easy? No, because let's be real with ourselves. Our conference is an absolute bloodbath. And I thought you guys made a solid move at the deadline too with Hathaway and Orlov. I mean, granted, it's not on quite the level that getting Patrick Kane is, but I think it's definitely a win for the Bruins at the same time. So definitely got to watch out for them. And then, the Lightning are the Lightning. I mean, I know they gave up a lot for Jeannot from the Nashville Predators, but the Lightning also gave up a lot for Blake Coleman and Barclay Goodrow. And look how that worked out.
Yeah, so the Eastern Conference is absolutely loaded right now. I think when you look at the Devils adding Timo Meier and the Maple Leafs adding Ryan O'Reilly, even though the Rangers added someone like Tarasenko, those other moves are what contributed, in my opinion, to the interest in wanting to add Patrick Kane. Now, yes, everyone has interest adding Patrick Kane, but you had to make another move to separate yourself potentially from the rest of the East. Now, we talk about adding Patrick Kane. He's won multiple Stanley Cup championships. When you look at the Rangers right now and adding a presence like Patrick Kane, what does that mean to this Rangers team that looked like Cup contenders before they made this trade this morning?
By adding Patrick Kane, I think that could help, not so much because of what he brings to the table, like skill-wise. You're getting a guy who has been on multiple cup runs and knows what it takes to win. If you're one of the young guys, like say a Lafreniere or a Kakko or even an Adam Fox, who's like in his mid-20s, you're going to look at a guy like him and be starstruck that he's on your team. And keep in mind, this is a lot of young players that have been on a deep run a year ago. So you never know where that experience could lead them.
Yeah, so you talk about experience. Another guy with Cup experience on your team recently you added here is Vladimir Tarasenko. He's been with the Rangers for a little bit since the trade from St. Louis. But Hank, from what you've seen so far, how has Tarasenko made an impact here for the New York Rangers?
Oh, he pretty much helped to give them that extra top winger, which was something they sorely needed because Artemi Panarin was stuck with some really bad wingers like Vitaly Kravtsov, for example. Now you have them on the same team. His game has definitely been better. I mean, he even had that 4-goal game against Carolina after that trade happened. And so that has definitely been another move that has been really good for them. And I would also say that adding Nico Mikkola has helped in that it's strengthened the depth in their defense too.
So when you look at the lines right now for the Rangers, any particular pairings that you think you'd like to see still moving forward?
I- It's tough because I really don't know if I can object to one because, like I said, it's pretty much interchangeable. But I have a feeling it's going to be Mika and Kreider on the top line, and then you would also have to think that Kane and Panarin are going to get some good minutes on that second line too. So, but again, with that being said, they're all pretty talented. Is it really how much of a difference is it going to make? And at the
Add
same time,
Fox, that's a hell of a power play.
yes, Fox has been absolutely lethal, and I would not be surprised if he wins the Norris Trophy again.
Yeah, that trophy is it'll be interesting to see. I think when I look at Eric Carlson, I know this is completely separate to our conversation here, but his numbers almost look too good. I wish there was more than one defensive award in the NHL, but in my opinion, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. So when you look at the playoffs right now, you guys are going to be playing a team like the Devils potentially in the first round, and you look at a team like Carolina, who you could see in the next round, maybe some movement depending on standings if you guys get really hot here. But when you look at the teams inside of your division, Carolina adding a guy like Puljujarvi, not a huge impact guy, but they've been able to turn it around for some young players around the NHL. You look at the Devils adding Timo Meyer. Where do you think the Rangers fit right now in your division? And you want to add some teams outside. Where do you think they fit overall in the Eastern Conference?
I would say probably around the 2 or 3 marker. Again, I'm not trying to say that to kiss your you know what because I know you're a Bruins fan, but I do have to put the Bruins at number one based on how many points that they have and where they are in the standings. But does that necessarily mean I think that the Rangers are far behind? Absolutely not. I think they could match up pretty well. And we've got a big game against each other this Saturday, too, at TD Garden at 1. So it'll be interesting to see how that shapes up. But as far as our division goes, that really can go either way. I mean, the Devils definitely scare me somewhat, but at the same time, this is also the first time they're going to be making the playoffs with the core that they have. This will be Jack Hughes' first taste of big time hockey. And you're going to see, and also they took a risk as well with regards to the Timo Meyer trade, because even though on the surface it doesn't appear like they gave up a lot, they still have to re-sign him if they really
Mm-hmm.
want to have their window open for a long time, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to give him potentially 8 years. So they took a big risk here in this trade, but when you look at their team starting to round out, yes, the inexperience is definitely something to keep an eye on. But one major advantage you guys have in that you guys absolutely have the best goalie in your division.
Oh, absolutely. I think even though he's struggled at times this year and hasn't posted quite the dominant Vezina numbers that we saw a year ago, you know that he is still more than capable of having a big game. And if I'm the Rangers and I have the current roster around and him as my goalie, I would definitely feel really good about my chances going into a 7 game series.
So, Hank, today, should I consider the Rangers the biggest threat to the Bruins?
Yeah, I think you can definitely put the Rangers up there. I mean, I don't know if I'd put them as the only threat. I mean, you still have to put the Lightning up there too. I mean, after all, look what they have accomplished over the past few years and look at the guys they still have. But
Roster's not the same.
you're right, but you still got the Stamkos, you still got Kucherov, you still have Hedman, you still have Vasilevsky. So I don't want to disrespect them, but at the same time, yeah, I think the Rangers definitely have to be in that conversation.
All right, Hank. Well, before I let you go, how can our listeners here keep in touch with you and review and preview sports and social media?
So you can find me pretty soon. We are going to be starting up Hitting for the Cycle again. That is every Thursday at 7, provided, of course, yours truly doesn't skip out for a Rangers playoff game. And of course, I also co-host Big Blue Avenue. That's another show that's usually on Thursdays during football at 7. And occasionally you can find me on the main show of Review and Preview, whether it be with Tom or whoever as a guest host. But in addition to what I do on Review and Preview, I also am part of the Empty the Bench Sports Network. I co-host the show Game On. We just aired our 44th episode tonight at 7 p.m. And you'll hear some of the same thoughts that I gave in this episode about the Patrick Kane deal. And in addition to that show, I also write blogs for that website. So definitely check out some of my written work there as well. But I've definitely been expanding my platform a little bit more since you and I last spoke.
Nice. Well, thank you, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join me here on Down the Block Sports.
Thank you for having me as always.
What do you think of this deal between the Rangers and Patrick Kane? Do you think the Rangers are the biggest threat to the Bruins in the Eastern Conference? Feel free to give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you very soon.